vacancies which immigrants can be let in to fill. Some engineers, quantity surveyors, maths and science teachers, chefs, care workers and vets. And on top of those, for Scotland, fish filleters and speech therapists. No one's claiming that the job search will be easy. It's getting much harder. But knowing where the openings are could get you one step ahead.
At job interviews. So, Rob, where's the first place to start?
I think the first place to look is actually in your network of contacts, because most people actually say that they find jobs through word of mouth and networking and not through things like job sites.
So what are the biggest mistakes people make when they're looking for a job then, once they've found the right place to start finding the jobs?
Well, one of the biggest mistakes, I think, is that people traditionally put together one CV and send it off with different covering letters. So it actually reads exactly the same, whereas what employers want to hear is how am I suited perfectly to work at, say HSBC or a law firm, rather than just seeing the same facts about me.
So, I'm sorry, I was just at this point, so you actually tailor it to the specific job?
So every CV you send out should be different, because what an employer really wants isn't just someone with the right skills, but someone who really wants to work for you. And when you get that passion and enthusiasm across, that's how you nail the job.
So you'd have to be quite picky as well, I think, with the jobs you're applying to, because there's quite a lot of work to put into tailoring each individual CV.
Exactly. I always say that finding a job isn't about a scattergun approach. It's actually like picking things off as a sniper. So deciding on your target, putting perhaps an hour of research into finding out what the employer is looking for and what you can bring to them, and putting together a CV and covering letter, not just bashing out 50 letters and sending them out.
And the CV is more than just, I was educated here, I've got this qualification, I've got this certificate. It's all about, these are the transferable skills that I've learned, this is the responsibility I've had in previous jobs, this is how I make it work for you.
Exactly. I mean, to be honest, if you've been out of school or education for about 5 or 6 years, people don't care what, grades you got at school. What people want to hear about is whether you're adaptable, whether you go the extra mile. So put concrete examples in your CV of how you've delivered tangible results. If you delivered a 3% growth, then mention it. Statistics really help you.
You spoke about this sniper-like attitude toward picking out specific jobs to you, but sometimes the temptation is, if you're made redundant or you've been fired, to just go for anything, any job that's out there, so that you're secure, at least getting some money in the door, so to speak. Is that the right attitude?
I think it's a very natural thing to want to do, to panic and think, I must get a job. But generally the people who do well are the ones who take a slightly more strategic approach, rather than just throwing, if you don't know what you're trying to get, you won't get it. Whereas if you sit back, just think a little bit about what you're best suited to, then that's generally the best approach.
Which suggests that you may, if you're offered a job that doesn't quite fit, you may be better off not accepting it, so that you keep that focus on the skills and expertise that you bring to a specific area.
I think in challenging times like this, there's a huge temptation to grab the first job, but you have to have confidence, and say, right, these are my skills, this is what I am looking for, and to be at least a little bit picky for the first few months, not to take the first thing that comes along.
Rob, thanks very much. Sorry to cut in there. I'm sure I'll be punished later for talking across you.
We'll see.
Rob, thanks so much.
Let's get another view on the job